All right, true believers, Elite Legend back in the house, ready to do something a little bit different for the channel. Going to do a live stream today. I am in the uh, Papa Mama zone. The Elite Legend zone is under construction right now. But right now, what I'm going to do, I've come down with a case of spring fever. So the cure this evening is Coors Light and some good old-fashioned Wax Packs baseball cards. I ended up picking up this box of 1990 Fleer baseball cards at a card store this weekend. Comes with a cool collector edition back. There you see Robin Yount, Roger Clemens, Don Mattingly. Robin Yount was actually the MVP of the American League in 1989. So it's kind of cool having him on this box. But this is 1989 unopened. Going to be opening this up tonight. So I want you guys to, enjoy the show, hang out with me. I'm going to be checking the comments. I'm going to be opening some packages. And I'm going to be doing this in the voice of the legendary Hawk Harrelson. And I might even have that son of a bitch Kane in this video as well. He's been following me around. I can't get rid of him. And also, go Sox, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and start taking a look at some of these 1990 baseball cards. So Elite Legend is going to rearrange his camera view here, and we're going to go about getting this taken care of. Hold on. Lady Days, what's going on? Funko Pop Ohana, what's going on? So we're going to be opening up these packages in just a second. So let's go ahead and shift this over here. And let me get a good vantage point, and then we'll get going. Probably going to have to... Oh, my bad. Is it still upside down? All right. Really? Is it still upside down? All right. Sorry for the technical difficulties, guys. I'm trying to get a good shot in here. Probably gonna have to end the stream and restart. Because I apologize for the technical difficulties, guys. I'm trying to get a good vantage point so I could open these cards here, but it looks like I'm gonna probably have to go about redoing this because I can't. I'm trying to do this on my phone, and dadgummit, it's just not letting me change the. I can't see what I'm doing through the camera. What's up? Should I? All right. Hold on. All right, so we're going to be taking a look at the Fleer baseball cards from 1990 in just a second. You see that son of a bitch Kane there? He's ready to start breaking into these packages. Kane has no decency. He has no soul. Gonna be, just bear with me one moment while, okay, perfect. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we're gonna start. Okay, perfect. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we're gonna start. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start opening these packages right now. String Bean, thank you for stopping by. Doomsday, thank you for stopping by. Nathan Simmons, thank you. Hey, brother Nathan Simmons, if we do have some duplicates in here, I will gladly send them your way. You are a The Atlanta Braves are actually my favorite baseball team aside from the Chicago White Sox. Grew up watching them on the Superstation, and I'm a fan of winners. Nightwalker, what's going on? Thank you for stopping by. String Bean, thank you for stopping by. What's everybody's favorite baseball team? Let me know on the chat. Pop Mama. Big Stan. What's going on, Big Stan? Funko Pop Ohana, thank you for stopping by. Just checking the comments. That Nerdy Family, thank you for being the first in here. Cubbies for Lady Dazed. Elite Legend grew up as a Cubs fan, and then I made the conversion to the White Sox. I still got love for the Cubs. Shed a tear when they won the championship, or the World Series, so to speak. The Reds. The Big Red Machine. Speaking of the Big Red Machine, that son of a bitch came. Ken Griffey Jr. from the Mariners. Definitely can't forget about that. Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt. What made me fall in love with the White Sox was actually Ozzie Guillen. But Frank Thomas and Albert Bell, they had a great early run in the 90s. Let me know what goes on Raw, Big Stan. I don't have USA. All right, so now without further ado, we got Coors Light. And we got the Big Red Machine, and we got 1990 baseball. So these cards are all based off of what went down in 1989. Obviously, that was the World Series this saw. It was a battle of the Bay. It was the Oakland Athletics and the San Francisco Giants. The Oakland A's swept that series, ended up winning the World Series. MVP was Dave Stewart, their ace. Dave Stewart had a hell of a run in those late 80s, early 90s. Definitely doesn't get the credit that he deserved. So now Greg Maddux, great player. Tom Glavine, my favorite player ever, Chipper Jones. There you go. Chipper Jones, Andreas Galarraga, Jose Canseco from the Bay. The Bash Brothers were amazing. People could say what they say about the steroid era, but the Bash Brothers helped set the tone, and Mark McGwire later on in the late 90s helped bring baseball back from its deathbed. The steroid era gave the Major League Baseball a shot in the arm, no pun intended. So without further ado, let's go ahead. I'm going to be possessed by the spirit of Hawk Harrelson. I promise there won't be any profanity, but there might be a whole lot of dadgummits. All right, so I'll tell you what, for my money, it doesn't get any better than when I sat down and I watched the excellence of Ted Williams and Carl Yaz. All right, so let's check this out, boys. Let's hunker down and cinch it in. First package, and again, check this out. This is it shows you the logo, trading cards, and it tells you on the pack this is the 10th anniversary of the Fleer line, and it tells you to collect to not throw the box away. Where does it say that? I don't see where it says that. Oh, here you go. Over on this side, it tells you not to throw the box away. It tells you save this box because printed on the bottom of this box are 3 of a 20 card limited edition and 1 logo found only on Fleer's logo, sticker, and trading card display boxes. So this is what they're telling you not to get rid of. It shows you the Toronto Blue Jays sticker card, shows their logo. I used to love, when I was setting up my baseball cards, I used to love setting up each team. I would always start it with their logo or their manager. Then there you see Roger Clemens when he was the ace of the Boston Red Sox. Seems like Clemens had 2 careers. But there you see Don Mattingly, who, when growing up in the 80s, he seemed like he was going to be a surefire Hall of Famer, but injuries kind of put that to bed. And there you see Robin Yount from the Milwaukee Brewers, just up north. One of my favorite players, Robin Yount. He was the MVP of the American League in 1989. MVP of the National League was Kevin Mitchell. Kind of an obscure name when you think of it. He had an Albert Bell-like season for the National League. playing for the Giants in '89. So let's go ahead and open up this first pack. I have a friend that has a 3D printer. How to Diva, what's going on? Thank you for stopping by. Any of you guys looking for some beauty tips, check out How to Diva. She always has some great content there. And if you guys haven't supported each other, look through the comments. You got some great YouTubers in here. Always network with each other and try to, find new channels to watch. So let's go ahead and crack this thing open. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to open the first pack here, and we're going to see who we find. Thank you, How to Diva. So these are the package. These are wax packages, so they come off pretty easily because this is literally what 30 years old, almost 30 years old. So it's pretty easy to take these off. I feel bad opening them, but these are pretty easy to come by. You can get a whole set for about 15 bucks on eBay. I got this actually for $5, so there's no way that I was gonna pass this up, and there's no way that I was gonna keep these closed. So here we see the chases on here. There is a Fleer 1990 All-Star Team 12 card set randomly packed in wax packs and value packs, and Fleer League standouts. There's a 6 card set in 3 packs only. All right, so let's see. Here we see a cool little baseball quiz. Let's see if anybody knows the answers here. True or false? The Royals had the best record in the American League West during the 1980s. Tough question. Number 2. What franchise joined the American League along with the Royals in 1969? I guess this is the Royals card. Oh, and it is. Check that out. There you go. This is the Fleer Action Series. The Royals. All right. So now let's go ahead. Oh, here we see Mike Levera. Catcher Mike Levera. He was always kind of a backup. He ended up playing for the White Sox at one point. Name was Spanky Levera. It was always nice seeing Spanky trying to round third and head for home. Spanky Levera. Here we see Juan Berenger, relief pitcher for the Minnesota Twins. Here we have Mark Parent, the catcher for the San Diego Padres. Was he the starter that year? No, he was the backup catcher. Here we go. Here we have our first heavy hitter. We have Donnie Baseball, Don Mattingly. Psycho Ghost Trackers, thank you for stopping in. Doing something a little bit different here. Usually I do wrestling, Marvel Legends, comic books. Today I've come down with a case of spring fever, so that cure in our below zero temperatures here in Chicago was some baseball cards. So I got these for $5, and we're opening up the first pack of Fleer baseball cards if you're just stopping in. 90s baseball was the best. I remember watching the baseball games at home. Remember watching the Minnesota Twins dominate, the Atlanta Braves, the Toronto Blue Jays. Some really good times. But this is the 90s set, so this is based off of what happened in 1989. And for those of you who remember, the Cubs actually made it into the NLCS, but they were eliminated by the Giants, who went on to get swept by the Oakland A's. So here we see first baseman Donnie Baseball, Don Mattingly. First baseman for the New York Yankees. In 1989, he had a stellar season. It was actually a down season for him, actually, when you look at it here. His batting average had dipped to .303, but he did still have 23 home runs, which was, and 113 RBIs, which is an improvement over what he had the year before. So he still had over 20 and 100 RBIs there. So there you see Donnie Baseball. Now we see Juan Augusto, lefty for the Houston Astros. Claudell Washington, an outfielder for the Oakland A's. Claudell Washington had a very long, lengthy season. Had a very underrated player. Now we see a relief pitcher, Dwayne Ward, for the Toronto Blue Jays. Now we see Major League prospects, Rudy Saenz and Colin Charlin. Nothing ever came of these two. It's always cool to look back and see the rookie cards, see who comes up. Lenny Harris. Lenny Harris did not become a star, but Lenny Harris was a great, great pinch hitter. A lost art in the sport of baseball. Now here we see Drew Hall, another role player. We see Mark Langston. Actually, Mark Langston had a pretty lengthy career. He ended up going over to the Angels, the California Angels at that time, and had a pretty big career there. Now here we see Jeff Montgomery. He was the closer for the Kansas City Royals. Had he claimed that role yet? This was actually his first year as a closer. Had 18 saves. This is basically his rookie season, so that's a pretty cool card to have there. Here we see Jack Howell, a third baseman for the Anaheim Angels. At this point, they were the California Angels. See Carmen Castillo and Lloyd McClendon. This is cool. Lloyd McClendon, he was a manager for the Pirates. He was a manager in Major League Baseball, but here you see him with the Chicago Cubs. And it looks like he had a pretty decent season with the Cubs. So there we see that. Now, that was the first pack, so let's go ahead and open up another one. Ronda Rousey's kicking some ass. I like Ronda Rousey. I feel that she's not getting a fair shake by the fans in the WWE. Everybody's hot for Becky Lynch, and she deserves it, but Ronda, what she's doing right now, the way she's taken like a fish to water, in the very tough transition from legit fighting to the WWE, she's amazing. I haven't seen anybody take to the sport like her other than Kurt Angle. Oh, now here we see a quiz card and also a Fleer Action Series card for the New York Yankees. That's cool. And it looks like we got our first insert. Perfect. Awesome. And what better insert card than the 1989 MVP of the National League? There we see Kevin Mitchell. Kevin Mitchell had a monster 1989 season for the San Francisco Giants. I thought he was going to go on to be, he had 47 home runs that year, 120. Look at how big this guy's year was. He had 47 home runs. In 1990, that's almost unheard of. 125 RBIs. 345 total bases, 87 extra base hits, slugging percentage of .635, and a .291 batting average. And he scored 100 runs. This guy had an amazing season. So that's our first insert. The 1990 season was a season that I was not into baseball cards. I really wasn't into much of anything in 1990. That was due to the passing of my dad. So here we see Lance Blankenship. Let's just run through these pretty quickly. So we see Lance Blankenship. He was an infielder for the Oakland A's. Lenny Dykstra. Dykstra was a big-time player in the early 90s. Is this his rookie card? No, he had already been in the league for a while. But it looks like he had a pretty decent season. But he hadn't approached... In the early 90s is when he started to approach his all-star type status. Here we see Lloyd Moseby. Billy Hatcher. Billy Hatcher was a very good pinch hitter later in his career. He had some good seasons with the Cardinals as well. Here we see Wally Backman. Greg Harris. Dave Righetti. Dave Righetti, great relief pitcher. Played for the Yankees. If those of you who remember, he was in San Francisco for quite a while as well as their pitching coach. Here we see Eric Anthony. The slugger Brian Downing for the California Angels. There we see Nelson Lariano. Let's go ahead and we see Derek May as well. Tim Cruz. Oh, here we see it. Here's a nice one. Is this a rookie? Yes, it is. Here we have a Juan Gonzalez rookie card. From Puerto Rico, Juan Gonzalez. Juan Gone. Juan Gonzalez. In the 90s, this guy had some monster seasons for the Rangers. Injuries took a toll on him. This was his first season. He had not technically his official rookie season would have been in 1990, which is what these cards are dated, but this is based off of 89 stats. In 1989, Juan Gonzalez actually had only 60 at-bats. I think you need 130 to qualify as a rookie. So here we see Juan Gonzalez. That's a pretty cool card, so I'm going to put that one aside as one of the early gems that we received. Pop Mama was pushing for Elite Legend to open these up. So now we're going to open up, so we're going to take a look at some more here. Got our third pack. Rhonda just went Kratos on Becky. All right, now here, who is the... Oh, this is cool. This is a sticker card, actually. All right, so we got a sticker card. Our first sticker card. This is part of the Action Series. This is has the Cleveland Indians, the Detroit Tigers, the New York Mets, and the Philadelphia Phillies. And any of you baseball fans in here, how do you guys feel about that big-time contract that Bryce Harper signed with the Phillies? Biggest contract in baseball history, $330 million. Was really hoping he would have made his way to one of the Chicago teams. The Cubs could have definitely had him. The White Sox were offering unlimited link, but unfortunately he didn't want to go for that. So here we see Jim Eisenreich, great pinch hitter. Here we see Bob McClure. Pop Mama, is the sound coming in okay on your end? Yes, it is. All right. So we see Gary Wayne. Hey, Joe Girardi. And you guys remember him. He broke in with the Cubs. This is his rookie season. Joe Girardi broke in with the Cubs, played for the Colorado Rockies. Then he ended up in New York. I don't follow the game if I don't have a fantasy team. So is Girardi still the manager of the Yankees? If you guys know, let me know in the comments below. I didn't watch any baseball last season, Nate, because if I don't have a fantasy team, I really don't have an interest in the game anymore, it seems. Here we have Guillermo Hernandez, great left-handed reliever for the Tigers. Dennis Rasmussen. All right, so we have Dennis Rasmussen here. Oh, check it out. Here we go. I know Lady Days isn't in here, but here we have the player of the decade. None other than Rhino, Ryan Sandberg, one of my favorite players of all time. Remember, Elite Legend was a Cubs fan all the way until 2003. They were my primary team. At the end of every season, it was always wait till next year. Cried like a baby at the end of every season because Harry Carey made us feel guilty. Players of the decade. Here you see the 10th anniversary. You see Ryan Sandberg. People don't go to sleep on how great Ryan Sandberg was. Ryan Sandberg had a tremendous season, tremendous career. The most powerful second baseman of all time. Here we see Donnell Nixon. Is this Otis Nixon? I'm not sure. Carlos Quintana. Here we see Dwight Smith. Here's another Cubby player. And here we have the MVP of the American League, Robin Yount. Hall of Famer Robin Yount for the Milwaukee Brewers. Elite Legend is a Brewer fan. Here we see Charlie O'Brien, a catcher. Charlie O'Brien, always a role player. Luis De Los Santos, first baseman for the Royals, backup. Jeff Innes in there, and here we see John Farewell. All right, so we're going into another pack. Again, I want to thank you guys for stopping in. Wow, since the late 90s, Nate. What made you stop watching baseball, Nate? Hey, Tommy Smith, thank you for stopping in. The thing with Bryce Harper, he's a huge star, obviously. One of the most recognizable guys in baseball. I just don't understand why he went to the Phillies. Well, there's 330 million reasons, but I think the Yankees were offering that much, or could have, at least. Oh, cool. Here we see our first quiz card. We see the Atlanta Braves, the Chicago Cubs, the Kansas City Royals, and the Milwaukee Brewers. Awesome. All right, here we see some top prospects that never made it. We see George Cannell and Kevin Mass. Now we see Mike Davis, Chad Kreuter, backup catcher. Brian Smith, he was a great closer. Here we see Flash Gordon, speaking of closers. Dude had 2 careers, first as a starting pitcher, then as a closer for the Boston Red Sox. Flash Gordon. Here we see Tony Armas, Mike Dyer, Paul Osemacher. I believe Paul Osemacher made his way to the Braves at some point. Here we see Gene Nelson, Jeff Parent, Todd Stoudemire. Stoudemire had a great career. Plagued by injuries, but he still was great nonetheless. Here we see Bill Landrum. Love that pirate. Love the pirate logo. Love the pirate cards. I love the black and gold. Roberto Clemente, the legend, the hero, Roberto Clemente. Here we see Alan Anderson, Andy Bennis. I believe Andy Bennis died unfortunately died at an early age when he was in St. Louis, and Dale Mahorsic. All right, so let's open up another pack. So far, we only have 1 insert card, but we did get 2 sticker cards. We have the Juan Gonzalez rookie card. Venom Fang, Bayou. What's Gucci, Venom Fang? Venom Fang, I'm opening up baseball cards from 1990. The Elite Legend has come down with spring fever. And the cure tonight is baseball cards and Coors Light. Venom Fang, are you a baseball fan? Did you follow baseball at any point? Let us know. All right, so here we see another sticker card. This time we have the Atlanta Braves, the Cubbies, the Reds, and the Astros. I never had this line. Remember, I didn't collect in 1990. If I would have collected, I would have probably pulled the sticker off and put it on my card sheets. I used to have the 9 the ring binders with the 9 slots. I would have probably put this on the first to lead off each team. Now we have our first duplicate of Donnie Baseball, Don Mattingly. They had a lot of so far it looks like there was a lot of duplicates here in this pack that I just opened up. But here's some new guys. Here we have Rick Honeycutt from the A's. We have Ricky Jordan, Lee Mazzilli, and Carmen Castillo. We've seen him already. So we got our first shot of basically all duplicates there except that Cubs and Braves 2-pack there. I got these from a little store at a skeleton mall in my area. There was a local comic. It was really not much of a comic book store. It's kind of like one of those Magic the Gathering stores that also sells comics. But they shut down their location. They opened up a bigger store inside of the skeleton mall. So we went to the Skeleton Mall and we saw a tiny little card shop. They had these boxes for like $5. I'm gonna go back and pick up the 1990 Marvel Universe cards. Um, I saw they had the whole set there from 1990 and 91, but without the holograms. So that's gonna be a video in the future if they still have those. So here we have another quiz card, and this time it looks like this is a duplicate. The Braves, the Royals, the Tigers, and the Brewers. So these are American League teams here. And now we see Fred Lynn. Oh, hell yeah. We see Fernando Mania. This is Fernando Valenzuela. If any of you guys remember him, any of you guys over on the West Coast, I know you're not originally from the West Coast, Nathan, but do you remember Fernando Valenzuela? A Skeleton Mall is a mall that used to be like popping, but no longer is it popping. It's you don't understand why it's even open. They have nothing in there. But here you see Fernando Valenzuela, Fernando Mania. Oh man, I remember this guy when I was growing up. He had some amazing seasons in the 80s with the Dodgers. His 1986 season, 21 wins. They worked the hell out of him. The innings that he ate up from 82 to 87, high leverage innings. Tommy Lasorda rode him like a horse. But Fernando Valenzuela, I know he's not a Hall of Famer, but Fernando goes into my little stack of fame here. A few years ago, I actually made my own Hall of Fame. It was a long summer. Here we see Brady Anderson. Brady Anderson was one of those guys that was just a good player. He played for the Orioles, and then one year he just busted out with 50 home runs, and then that was the steroid era. But he's one of those guys that would have never been much of anything more than just a good player without the juice. But his juiced up days didn't last that long. But here you see he was averaging. This is actually a rookie card of his. He hadn't amassed 130 at bats at all yet. Overall, he had a couple cups of coffee between 88 and 89. As you see here, overall he had only 124 at bats. You need 130 to qualify as a full-time Major League Baseball player. Oh, Rolly Fingers and Catfish Hunter. I don't know if they were still in the league in 1990. But that'll be pretty dope if I do pull a Rolly Fingers or a Catfish Hunter. But here we go. We have Jim Deshaies. That's probably the closest we're going to get there. And Carney Lansford. He was a pretty good infielder for the Oakland A's. Here we have Matt Murillo. We have Joe Oliver. And I forgot that I was supposed to be doing this in the voice of Hawk Harrelson. Welcome back, Lady Dazed. Lady Days, you missed the Ryan Sandberg card. This is an insert card. Actually, it's not an insert. It's a regular numbered card. Players of the decade. You're a Cubs fan. Were you a fan of Ryan Sandberg? Rhino. Who was your favorite Cub, Lady Days? Are you modern or... I know pretty much everybody's favorite players right now are Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo. I'm a big fan of Bryant. Bryant has a bright future. He's going to be a surefire Hall of Famer. Very special talent. Hopefully that injury that he had last season doesn't linger. Good night, Nathan Simmons. Thank you for stopping by. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check out Nathan Simmons. Check his page out. Always has great content. He is a comic book guru, a collector guru, collector extraordinaire. He's a G1 Transformer collector, Mezco, you name it. Nathan Simmons is collecting it. He is a great collector, a great YouTuber. Definitely a person that you want to see in your chats, that you want to see, hanging out with you on your streams. Michael Jordan. I remember when he left to go play for the White Sox. All right, here we see Tom Foley. Harold Reynolds. He used to be on ESPN Baseball Tonight. Harold Reynolds. He became a better baseball player once he retired. He was a legend in his own mind. Here we see Kevin Mitchell. This was the MVP of the 1989 season. An amazing year. It was kind of out of nowhere because if you look at the back of the card, you probably can't see it, but I'll read it out for you. So in 1988, he had his first. He became so his first season was in 84. He had a cup of coffee, but in 86 he came up. He spent all of 85 in the minors. In 86 he came up and he had 300 at bats, 12 homers, so some pretty decent power there. 87, he didn't really do much of anything. He got traded, came over to the Giants and produced some solid power. Had 500 at bats for the first time in 88 and was able to manage 19 home runs. Now in 89, he had 543 at bats, so less than 40 at bats more. But he took that home run total from 19 up to 47. 125 RBIs. Dude had a monster season in 1989, I'm sorry. 47 home runs, 125 RBIs, 290 batting average, slugging percentage of .635. That is amazing. That's the MVP. But unfortunately, they did not win the World Series. They didn't even win a game. The Oakland A's beat the Giants 4-0. That was a battle of the base. So you have Oakland, you have San Francisco. Could you guys imagine a World Series between the Cubs and the White Sox? We've had a World Series with the Yankees and the Mets, but we have not had the Cubs and the White Sox. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see the White Sox win again, but I'd love to see the Cubs and the Sox go head to head. Lickly Slit, what's going on? Thank you for stopping by. We're opening up baseball cards from 1989. This isn't a 1990. This isn't a regular thing for Elite Legend. Normally I do Marvel Legends. David Martinez, thank you for stopping by. Normally I do Marvel Legends. I do WWE figures, comic books, occasionally Pops. Anybody pick up anything during the PopCon? All right, here we see Sid Bream, Henry Cotto, Vince Coleman. This was one of my favorite guys. He wasn't a star, but he was one of the fastest guys in baseball. A great source of stolen bases. If fantasy baseball was around in 1990, he'd be one of the top picks. Drift from Fortnite. I picked up Jordan. I picked up Michael Jordan, the rookie. The Astros. Hey, Venom fan, do you remember when the White Sox whooped the Astros in the World Series in 2005? I do. Yeah, so I picked up the Jordan. I picked up the Wayne's World 2-pack. Oh, he might Andre Dawson. That's amazing. I remember as a kid, I'd go down to the Cubs games, and it was the '87 season when he won the MVP. But I wasn't aware of the greatness. I just wanted to go there and eat the hot dogs, and then I'd get up and leave. But I was 6. David, we got a lot of Houston people in here. Yeah, definitely don't forget to thumbs up, guys. Definitely don't forget to thumbs up. Venom Fang from Houston. Nightwalker, where are you from, buddy? Are you from did you say you're from Texas as well? I know David Martinez is from Houston. Definitely Hulk smash that like button, guys. So Pop Mama still has to do her video for what she picked up. I know I kind of revealed it on my last stream. I accidentally opened up a box that was for her anniversary gift. She knows what she got, but she hasn't opened it. Oh, cool. Look, you guys are Texas guys. Here we have the Texas Rangers card. I always wanted to get out to the ballpark in Arlington. I remember when it first opened up, I thought it was amazing looking. And I was a huge Juan Gonzalez fan. Oh, Nightwalker, Boogie Down Bronx. You ever been out to a Yankee game at the new stadium? Here we have, looks like we have some more duplicates here. Speaking of the Bronx, Joe Girardi, Yankee manager there. Here we see Todd Burns, Dennis Cook, Frank Willis, Bob Walker. Look at this. How 80s is this? Check this out. This dude looks like Uncle Rico in here. This one right here, Bob Walker. Them Texas boys. Here we have Kent Hrbek. He was a big star in the early 90s with the Minnesota Twins. Remember the Hanky? What was it? The Homer Hankies? Mark Davis, Jesse Barfield. Here goes another Yankee from that time period. Alex Trevino, Johnny Ray, Ernie Witt. It's always cool seeing these top prospect cards. Here's two dudes that never made it. Dan Howitt and Tom Dress. But at least they got the rookie cards to show people. And that is a glorious stash. Alejandro Pena, Fred Manrique, and Kevin Gross. The other day on the live stream, I showed everybody this this Chuck Norris that I received for my anniversary. Pretty sick Chuck Norris. Kind of breaking it up a little bit. This is kind of giving myself a little bit of a stretch here. Here's a little sneak peek at another thing that Pop Mama picked up. We see the baby Wicket. Kind of looks like my little baby Kingpin. And you see that son of a bitch Kane. The Wicket is pretty cute. I gotta admit. I was looking at, I think Emerald City Comic Con is going to have a classic Thor, finally. They're releasing a classic Thor pop. Here's another baseball one for the Minnesota Twins. Now here we see Rafael Belliard, Brian Holman, Tom Brunansky, Lee Smith. He was at one point a closer for the Chicago Cubs. Oh, here's my guy, Ruben Sierra. He was the runner-up to the MVP in the American League in 1989. Had an amazing season. This guy, injuries kind of curtailed his career. Some say it may have been other substances that kind of curtailed his career. But Ruben Sierra was one of my guys. He's from Puerto Rico, so Elite Legend was kind of biased towards him. But Ruben Sierra was the total package. 5-tool player. He could bat, he could run, power, arm, and all the intangibles. Ruben Sierra is one of the greatest, could have been one of the greatest of all time. Kind of like Yaz. All right, here we see Gene Nelson, Jeff Parent. Some more legendary mustaches. Look at these A's. Here we go, Jeff Parent with a full beard. Todd Sotomayor. We actually opened up most of these already. This is a lot of duplicates here. This guy isn't a duplicate. Danny Darwin had a very long career. This dude played till he was about 60, it seemed. Here you see Wally Joyner. He would go on to have a pretty decent career. Played for the Padres for a long time. Here you see Jimmy Key. Jimmy Key had a great career. Those of you, I don't know how old you are, Nightwalker, but Jimmy Key was a big time Yankee for a while. But before, I think it's before they had their dynasties of the 90s. Oh, Nightwalker, you're around my age, so I'm sure you remember Jimmy Key, Bernansky, Holman. There you go. So far, we have only two insert cards. This was an insert card of the Fleer All-Star team. So I'll show you guys. So this is we have only two inserts. We have Kevin Mitchell and Ruben Sierra. Man, Ruben was only 23 years old in 1989. Dude could have had a monster career. It's always upsetting when you see people waste talent and think about what could have been. Let's see what we have next. Hey, Nightwalker, my birthday is March 16th. Venom Fang is at 33 years in Symbiote. What's the name of the running back for the Cowboys? I always forget his name. He looks like Wicket. Oh, here we go with a Montreal Expo sticker card. The Expos were a team that just developed so much talent. Remember, Andre Dawson came from the Expos. Tim Raines, another Hall of Famer, came from the Expos. Larry Walker, Andreas Galarraga, Marquise Grissom, so much talent came from the Expos. Major League Baseball ended up buying them. Now they're called the Nationals. Wasted Talent. Yes. Bronx Tale, great movie. Oh, speaking of the Expos, here's Marquise Grissom rookie card. Marquise Grissom had a great career. Very underrated player. Darnell Coles. Here we see Matt Williams. Great power hitting second baseman for the Giants. When you think of great power hitting second baseman, you think of the Hall of Famer Joe Morgan, Ryan Sandberg, but Matt Williams is right in that conversation as well. Here we see some more rookies that never were. Let's see, Rick Reed, Keith Comstock, Willie McGee. Any of y'all ever see E.T. or Widget the World Watcher? This guy looks just like him. Let's get a closer glimpse here. Sorry, I was a little focusing a bit. So Willie McGee. All right, we got Mike Boddicker. We have another All-Star team guy. We have Mickey Tettleton, the catcher for the Baltimore Orioles. So another insert card. We have Rick Honeycutt, Ricky Jordan, and other duplicates. Lee Mazzilli, Spanky Lavera, Behringer, Perrin, Boddicker. Some more duplicates, but we did get a third insert card. All right, we're moving along. Venom Fang is 33,000 years old. Venom Fang, you insult my people. Prepare to die. Whoa. Did anybody hear that? It sounds like somebody came in here and was... Venom Fang, I think somebody's coming at you. All right, so... let's go ahead and open up another pack. This time, it looks like we have the Atlanta Braves. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So we got the... Here we see Freddy Krueger's brother, Bill. Mike McFarland. Dave Madigan. Brooke Jacoby. Rolando Rumes. Here we see the dynamic duel. This is a cool card. We see Will the Thrill Clark and Kevin Mitchell. Will the Thrill Clark was the first baseman for the San Francisco Giants. I paid $5 for this box. But I entered up a code that actually made it so that I paid $1. We programmed the machine. Here's Jeff Ballard. Here's David Cone. Here's a great card of David Cone. He was a Met. So Cone has played for the Mets. He played for the Yankees. See Tommy Green. Hey, check this out. I know you guys in Texas, you guys remember Dallas, the Cowboys. Here's primetime Neon Deion Sanders when he played for the Yankees. This is cool. This is his rookie card. He batted .234. He had 47 at bats, so he didn't qualify he didn't qualify as a major leaguer yet. He had one stolen base. And let's read the Did You Know for primetime Neon Deion. Known more for his exploits on the football field, first-round draft pick of the NFL Falcons, and had a touchdown and major league home run in the same week. How cool is that? Had a touchdown in the NFL and a home run in the major leagues in the same week. The two-time All-American safety at Florida State, and he won the Jim Thorpe Award as the best collegiate defensive back in 1988. All-American in track in 1988, and he's also regrown his hair with hair restoration. The brother is now rocking an afro. Deion Sanders. Primetime. Neon Deion. Anybody remember those interception dances? Here we see Terry Mulholland. Oh, this is another one of my favorites of the 80s. I used to love to emulate his batting stance. Look up his batting stance. He would have his legs. He would put his knees together. He played in the Mexican League for a while. This dude played till he was about 56 years old, it seemed. Here you see Julio Franco. Love Julio Franco. Venom Fang is the Shaolin symbiotic samurai of the night. Venom Fang, you question my Wu-Tang. I kill you. Emmitt Smith. No, I'm talking about the guy that the running back for the Cowboys nowadays. What's his name? He looks like an Ewok. All right, so now we're going to open up another card. I'm waiting for the White Sox. And we have another group card, sticker card of the Dodgers, the Expos, the Mets, and the Phillies. So let's kind of power through this one. Frank Wills, Bob Walk, Kent Herbeck. These are duplicates. Jesse Barfield, I'm going through these quickly because these are all duplicates. Oh, wow, I would have been really upset if this would have been the pack that I would have opened up. But this is a pack that I would have probably opened up if I was collecting in 1990. Probably would have got that pack about 30 times. Oh, yes, we need to get a Frank Thomas. Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith was amazing. Those Cowboys were amazing. They legitimately were America's team. All right, so here we have, let's see. Again, it is a group one, but this time we have the Twins, the Yankees, the A's, and the Mariners. All right, we see Mike Blowers. Hey, Sammy Sosa, who called it? Who called it? Nightwalker. Thurman Munson will not be in here. And my cat is trying to make a debut here. She's going to try to ruin some cards. That son of a bitch, Kane's going to chase her away. But look at Sammy Sosa when he was skinny and still Caucasian. Or not Caucasian, but Hispanic. I don't know what he is right now. I guess he could still be Hispanic. He's just pink and not brown anymore. But here we see Sammy Sosa. Poor guy has an identity crisis. If you haven't seen Sammy Sosa, look him up. He's kind of like the Little Kim of retired baseball players. But Sammy Sosa was the man. He was the reason to watch Cubs for a while. It was sad to see how they threw him under the bus and tried to make it seem like he was the problem, when in actuality he was one of the reasons why people filled that stadium to get some kind of excitement and joy, because nobody else on that team was doing it. But Sammy Sosa was a guy that was thrown under the bus, and that was in typical Cubs fashion. It was really upsetting to see how he ended his career, but Sammy was an amazing player. People say that steroids made him better. Hey, a lot of people took steroids. A lot of busters have been suspended for taking steroids. I didn't see them hitting 60, 70 home runs. Sammy Sosa was out there. He was doing his thing. Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire brought that game from the dead and propelled it to the popularity that they have today. Sammy Sosa is a hero. Great card. Those of you remember, Sammy Sosa started with the White Sox, ended up getting traded to the Cubs. Here we have Cecil Espy. Here we have Andreas Thomas. We see Kent Merker here. Eddie Murray, Hall of Famer Eddie Murray. This is when he made a stop with the Dodgers. Played for the Angels. Eddie Murray played for the Baltimore Orioles. Here's a Hall of Famer, member of the 3000 Hit Club, Eddie Murray. And this card, you probably can't really see, but he looks like he's about 73 years old in here. He looks like Danny Glover from Lethal Weapon. He looks like he's getting too damn old for this. But he was a Hall of Famer. This season in 1989, he had a very down year. He did have almost 600 at bats still, but he batted .247. He was making the transition from a career in the American League. He had his career in the American League, and he made the transition to the National League and had a rough time. Only .247 batting average. He did bounce back, and he did end up putting together a Hall of Fame career. So we have Eddie Murray. Very excited to have that. So here we see Walt Weiss, Don Paul. This is probably John Paul's brother. You see Jeff Reed, Wallace Johnson, Jeffrey Leonard, Jose Uribe, and we have our first checklist. All right. We're getting through this. Home run hitters. Chicks dig the long ball. Venom Fang says he's beige now. And here we have another one of those group cards. We have the Blue Jays, the Rangers, the Red Sox, and the O's. I want to see some good stuff, but let's see where they're hiding. We got Mike Benjamin. We have Greg Jeffries. We have Randy Milligan. Eric Plunk. We have Cecilio Guante. We have Pete Incaviglia. We have Darrell Evans. Mark Lemke. Willie Randolph. Jay Tibbs. Gerald Young. Here we have Ricky Henderson. Anybody remember Ricky Henderson? Ricky Henderson was amazing. He's a Hall of Famer. Member of the Oakland A's. Ricky Henderson actually won the MVP in 1990, the year after this. But let's take a look at some of his numbers from the 89 year. In 89, he started his year with the Yankees and he ended up getting traded over to the A's. He had 12 home runs, 57 RBIs. Remember, he was a leadoff hitter. But look at the stolen bases. In 1988, he had 93 stolen bases. In 1988, oh my God, check this out. He had 100 stolen bases in 1980. 130 stolen bases in 1982. 108 in 83. And then he had 93 in 88. Ended up getting 77 stolen bases in 1989. Ricky Henderson was a hell of a player. Well-deserved Hall of Famer. Amazing player. We have Rosenberg, Rick Mahler. Ricky Henderson was prime time in every way. Very flashy. I remember the gold chain. Ricky Henderson always had that Ric Flair drip. Venom Fang is outie. Venom Frying. I shall haunt your dreams, my friend. Here we see another team card. The Twins, the Yankees, the Padres, and the Giants. We see Scott Hammond, Mark Gardner. We see Rick Dempsey, Scott Kulba, Andres Galarraga, Danny Tartabull, Mike Witt, John Moses, Steve Wilson, Lou Whitaker. This is a guy that was pretty much screwed. I think he is worthy as a Hall of Famer. Him and Alan Trammell were a great infield for the Detroit Tigers. Lou Whitaker was in my Hall of Fame, but not in Major League Baseball's. And here we have Tony Gwynn, another Hall of Famer. There we go. We're getting to heavy hitters now. Tony Gwynn is in. Now we have Players of the Decade. We have Roger Clemens, another insert. Oh, no, that's not an insert. Dennis Lamb. Here we have some. Here we go with the big dog, Andre Dawson. By 1989, his numbers have started to decline. But here we have Andre Dawson, Hall of Famer. Here we have a near Hall of Famer and Gary Sheffield. This was his first full season in baseball with the Milwaukee Brewers. Rick Dempsey, Scott Coolball, Danny Tartabull. Okay, cool. So we are getting through this. Lickety Slit. Nightwalker. Oh, definitely we'll be putting these in some plastics. The value for these guys really isn't much, but sentimental value. Here we have Kevin Bass. We have Terry Steinbach, catcher. He would go on to be a big-time catcher for the Twins as well. We have Greg Walker, was a former hitting coach for the World Series champion White Sox. Scott Scooter, Damaso Garcia. Hey, here we go, Ken Griffey Jr., baby. Wish we have more people in the chat to see Junior. This is Junior's rookie card. 455 at-bats his rookie season, 16 homers, 16 stolen bases. Here we have Hall of Famer Ken Griffey Jr., y'all. Now, let's see. Brett Butler. This was one of my favorite players. He was kind of like a Caucasian poor man Ricky Henderson. Leadoff hitter. I always loved Brett Butler. What's going on, Big Stan? Any update from Raw? Jose Oquendo, Jody Reed. Oh, hell yeah. One of my favorite players of all time, Cal Ripken Jr., former shortstop of the Baltimore Orioles. His streak was one of my favorite memories in baseball. Cal Ripken Jr., the Iron Man. Played the most consecutive games in baseball history. Nowadays, with the prima donna athletes, nobody will ever touch that streak. Cal Ripken Jr., a true legend of the sport. Yeah, we did open up the Ken Griffey Jr. Ken Griffey right there. Cal Ripken. Let's get some Frank Thomas in here. All right, hell yeah. We have the Pirate card. Here we have Bedrosian, Kevin Romine. Oh, Shawan Dunston, one of my favorite Cubs. Shortstop for the Cubs. I remember they used to always have a Shawanometer in the audience. He would always start his season off very slowly, and as the season would progress, his batting average would rise. And you would see the guy in the audience. He would always have the Shawanometer, and we would be able to track it to see what his batting average was as the season progressed. Sean Dunston. Is this his rookie card? No, he had already been established for a while. Here's Rob Deere. This is a guy that he was the ultimate conclusion, basically. He was either a home run or a strikeout. Very low batting average. Here we see Tim McIntosh, Mike Winters. We see Randy Myers. He was a big-time closer. He was a closer for the Chicago Cubs as well. Shield reuniting for the final time at Fastlane. Triple H addresses Batista. Ronda Rousey turned heel. Now, was Batista on tonight? Corey Snyder. Hey, Robin Ventura. Famous White Sox third baseman. Played for the Mets. Ended up coaching the White Sox even though he shouldn't have. He couldn't coach his way out of a paper bag. And legendarily got his butt beat by Nolan Ryan. One of the greatest beatings in sports history. And if you guys remember that, if you haven't, check it out. Nolan Ryan throws inside. Robin Ventura takes exception to it. Charges the mound, gets put in a headlock, and gets his face bloodied for his efforts. Love it. Hey, here we see Halle Berry's ex-husband, David Justice, former Yankee as well, former Brave, big-time star in the 90s, David Justice. Kevin Romine, Steve Bedrosian. Go ahead and get another one. And why was that the last time that they reunited, Big Stan? And is Seth Rollins really leaving? Not Seth Rollins. Is Dean Ambrose really leaving the WWE? Here we see the Royals card. Here we see Luis Aquino, Tim Teufel, Bud Black, Norm Carlton. Here we see the league's best shortstops, Tony Fernandez and Cal Ripken Jr., Ron Hasey, Von Hayes, Pat Borders, catcher for the Toronto Blue Jays, R.J. Reynolds, Dan Gladden. Here we see Sandy Alomar Jr. from Puerto Rico, one of my favorite players. His brother Robbie Alomar, the Hall of Fame second baseman, formerly of the Blue Jays, the Cleveland Indians, Baltimore Orioles. Blink Button, thank you. Welcome to the show. This is my first time doing a baseball card opening. Normally I stick to comic books, Pops, wrestling figures, Marvel Legends, anything vintage. Today I came down with a bit of spring fever, and I felt that the remedy was going to be some old school baseball cards. So I opened up a box of baseball cards that I got for $5. The complete box wax pack baseball cards from 1990. But here we see Robbie Alomar Jr. This is actually Robbie Alomar's rookie card as well. See him from Salinas, Puerto Rico. That is where my stepfather is from. Salinas, Puerto Rico. Sandy Alomar Jr. Oh, here we have a Hall of Famer, Dave Winfield. Former Twin, former Yankee, big time power, Dave Winfield. Hall of Fame. Here we see Glenn Wilson, Devon White. Here we have a guy that should have been in the Hall of Fame. I think he ended up 7 home runs shy of 500. Fred McGriff, always a classy individual. He left the Blue Jays, went over to the Braves, had a great stellar career, but he just was short of 500 home runs, and I don't think he's ever going to get into the Hall of Fame because he lacks those home runs. Hopefully the Veterans Committee or one day they end up putting him in, but unfortunately he's in the Hall of the Very Good, but unfortunately not in the Hall of Fame. It's a really good pack. We had Sandy Alomar, we have Dave Winfield, we ended up having Fred McGriff as well. Old school Kane, that son of a bitch, Kane. It seems like the Shield is reunited like 30 times. Here we see the Padres card. Damon Berryhill. Tracy Jones. Oh, here was another guy. Benito Santiago. One of my favorites. Catcher. Played for the Phillies. Played for everybody. Pirates. You name it. Wes Gardner. Les Lancaster. Greg Brock. Mike Felder. I would always give Mike Felder cards. He was a pretty much didn't amount to much in baseball, but I always have Mike Felder cards. And Bud Black. Tim Leary, Deion James. Oh, this is cool. Here we see rookie cards, and we see Delano DeShields definitely made it in baseball. Jason Grimsley had moderate success, so that's a pretty cool rookie card. Todd Zeile, former Cub, former third baseman for the Cardinals. I think this is his rookie card. It sure is. Todd Zeile, rookie. So what happened? The Shield reunited tonight. Did Dean end up turning on them again? And why is it the last time that the Shield reunited? Eric Davis, this guy for the Reds, he put together a good string of seasons. I don't know what it was, injuries or what, but he kind of like derailed and he lost that momentum. But Eric Davis had some great years. If you look at these numbers, in 1989 for the Reds, he batted .281. He had 34 home runs, 101 RBIs, 21 stolen bases. He had a great year. Dean does have issues. Oh, here we go, guys. You wanted to see some Mark McGwire. Here we see Donnie Baseball and Mark McGwire with the Oakland A's. All-Star Superstars. Here we see it. Joe. Here we see Keith Hernandez of the Mets. Here we see Ruben Sierra's single card. Lonnie Smith. Steve Searcy. Oh, another guy. This was another one of my favorites. Orel Hershiser. He was another one of those Dodgers pitchers that just ran wild in the 80s. Loved Orel Hershiser. Dave Schmidt, Lonnie Smith. But here we see Ruben Sierra, man. From Carolina, Puerto Rico. He had 29 home runs and 119 RBIs, 8 stolen bases, 306 batting average, 101 runs batted in. He was the runner-up to the MVP award in 1989. Ruben Sierra, the outfielder for the Texas Rangers. It's good to see Roman Reigns back in the WWE ring. Was there a pay-per-view last night? Baron Coleman, McIntyre, and Lashley. Now that Roman's back, it's good seeing Roman back. Was there a pay-per-view last night? If there was, there must have not been that much hype for it. Oh, cool. Here we see a rookie card of Chuck McElroy, moderate success, but we see Moises Alou. Any of you guys Cubs fans will remember? Oh, this Sunday's the pay-per-view. So here we see Moises Alou play for the Pirates, play for the Expos, play for the Cubs. This is a guy that he was the guy in the, if you guys remember Bartman, he's the one that was in the outfield. He's the one that started yelling at Bartman and started really inciting the crowd. Even though everybody in that section was going after that ball, Bartman's the one that made contact with it. So, of course, he's the one that's going to get charged with it. But again, that was the Dusty Baker era Cubs, and they were always looking to put the blame on somebody else, always looking for a scapegoat, no accountability. They blamed Steve Stone for their mishaps, as if an announcer has anything to do with what's going on in the field. Just a bunch of stupidity, and that's the reason why I turned on the Cubs in 2003. But Moises Alou, funny thing is, he said the reason why he kept his hands so strong was that he peed on them. So he would pee on his hands in the shower, and he says that it would protect his hands from calluses. That's why he didn't use batting gloves. And if you see him here, he's not just not wearing batting gloves just for the picture. He didn't wear batting gloves to bat because he felt that he had better contact with the baseball bat. He had better control, and he would get rid of the calluses with urine. I don't know how effective that is, but it may have worked for him. R. Kelly must have missed the memo. Instead of peeing on his hands, well, we know the story there. Here we see Jose Vizcaino. This guy was a Cub for a long time. Here we see him for the Dodgers in his rookie year. Mike Jeffcoat. Here we see Denny Martinez from Nicaragua. He was a long-time baseball player. Played for the Indians, played for the Expos. Very lengthy career. Here we see another Hall of Famer. Here we see George Brett, finally, another heavy hitter. George Brett, first baseman for the Kansas City Royals. There we see a Hall of Famer finally. Lee Stevens, Dave West, Scott Sanderson, Matt Nooks, Bip Roberts. Here we see Jamie Navarro in his rookie card. He ended up being the Cubs ace for a while during some lean times for the Cubs. You see Jeffcoat. There we go. Let's break up the cards for a little bit. Here we see Michael Jordan. This is the pop that I had alluded to earlier. This is the rookie, Michael Jordan. Beautiful, beautiful. The only thing that I don't like about this Jordan is that it's inaccurate. The inaccuracy bothers me. He has his shorts, they come down below the knee. Everybody knew that Michael Jordan in the early days was rocking them Daisy Dukes. I think the song Daisy Dukes says, "Look at MJ with the Daisy Dukes son." All right. What's going on, Sal? Thank you for making it. Sal, we're opening up baseball cards. This is something that you won't normally see on my channel, uh, but I did end up picking up a box of vintage baseball cards from a small card shop. Always want to support small business. Picked up a box, $5, very reasonable. One of these boxes similarly usually goes for about 15 to 20 bucks on eBay, so I got a really good deal. Below zero weather here in Chicago. This time of year, I'm always looking forward to the baseball season, and I was able to pick these up, and this is going to be kind of my cure for spring fever. I never collected cards in 1990. That's the year that my dad passed, so I totally skipped out on collecting. So I'm excited to open these up. So far, it has some pretty good pulls. Thank you for smashing that like button, Sal. Those of you, if you haven't checked Sal out, there's not that many of us in here now, but if anybody that's watching this after the airing, go into the comments, check out Sal's screen, check him out, give him a like, follow his content. It's always good to find new channels. That's how we grow together, network with each other. Check Sal out, give the brother some love, and he'll definitely return that favor. And Sal, make sure you go through the comments. I know it's late tonight, but tomorrow go in there, check out the people that are in here. You got some good YouTubers, a lot of individuals that you want to see in your streams. Look at that girl with the Daisy Dukes on. I want you to look at them girls with the Daisy Dukes on. The song is about Michael Jordan rocking his Daisy Dukes. That's the kind of information that you'll get from Elite Legend. There you go. Nightwalker is going to be checking out Sal. Here we have Tony Fernandez, one of my favorite players from that era. Shortstop for the Toronto Blue Jays. He ended up playing for the Royals as well. Spike Owen, Willie Wilson. Willie Wilson is another underrated player. Had a great career. Played for the Cubs towards the end of his career. And Rick Aguilera. He also played for the Cubs for a bit. Served as their closer during the dark days in the early 90s. Mid-90s. No holograms, unfortunately. I don't think they started going hologram crazy until about 91, 92. Unfortunately. Yeah, this is some pretty sad inserts. It looks like a regular card. It's not much in the way of design. So here we have, kind of go through this. We have Eric Hansen, Joe McGrain. Ellis Burks had a great career. Is this his rookie year? No, he had already been in the league for a couple of years. Played for the Red Sox, played for the Colorado Rockies, played for the White Sox. Ellis Burks had a hell of a career. Oh, here we go. Players of the decade. We got Cal Ripken Jr., one of the players of all time. We have Terry Kennedy, Danny Heap, Rick Sutcliffe. This was a big-time player for the Chicago Cubs. Helped propel them to the National League Championship. Big-time trade that they had made to bring him over. Here we have another Hall of Famer, Paul Molitor. So there we go. This is a pretty cool pull. Paul Molitor, Hall of Famer. Tony Fosas. Here we have a team card featuring the Cubs, Astros, Reds, and Atlanta Braves. Here we have Zane Smith, Scott Bankhead, Don Robinson, and Jose Alvarez. You have a Yankee team card. Here we go, Rock Reigns, a Hall of Famer, Rock Reigns. And oh, Bo knows. Who remembers Bo Jackson? Big time stars. Yes, the Jordan Pop does have Air Jordan 1s on it. The shoes are accurate, though. Big Stan, you missed Andre Dawson, but you did not miss Ozzie Smith yet. Hopefully we see that Wizard of Oz. We haven't seen Ozzie Guillen either, so I'm hoping to get them as well. But here we see Bo knows. Bo Jackson. He had a memorable home run with the White Sox in the playoffs. Bo was amazing. If you guys don't know about Bo Jackson, look him up. Two-sport athlete, Los Angeles Raider. Oh, man. End zone to end zone, touchdown, power. Came back and played pretty effectively with a prosthetic hip. He is like Mr. Perfect. Bo knows. I remember I met Bo Jackson at Green Meadow Farms on a field trip when I was about 11 years old. Bo Jackson, one of the greats. Willie Frazier, Shane Raleigh. Shane is one of those guys. His favorite rapper is Old Dirty Bastard. Shane says he likes it raw. He loves Monday Night Raw. He eats his meat raw. Everything about Shane Raleigh is raw. Here we see Willie Frazier. Here we see Paul Kingus. Alan Trammell. This is another guy. Alan Trammell and Lou Whitaker were robbed, screwed, and all kind of wronged when it comes to the Hall of Fame. This was an amazing infield for the Detroit Tigers, and the Detroit Tigers weren't chumps. They were a great team back in the day. Another guy that was wrong was their starting pitcher, their ace, Jack Morris. No love for the Tigers. And here's the man, Robbie Alomar, Roberto Alomar Jr., one of the greatest players of all time, in my opinion. And this is his rookie year happened in 1988 with the Padres. This is his second year. But his brother was a rookie this year for the Padres as well. Sandy and Roberto Alomar on the same team. Here we see 10th player of the 10th anniversary players of the decade. We see George Bell. George Bell had a hell of an early career with the Blue Jays, but then he fell off. Here we see Ality Hatmaker. All right, here we see Rhino, finally. The first Rhino that we got was just one of those players of the decade, but here is Ryan Sandberg. Let's take a look at his numbers from 1989. This was a playoff team for the Cubs. Rhino had his best power season, 30 home runs. He had 76 RBIs. He had 15 stolen bases. People forget about Ryan Sandberg and his stolen bases. At this point, he already had 250. The year before that, he had 25. He had 21 prior to that. He even had 54 stolen bases in 1985. Ryan Sandberg, people fall asleep on him and they just think about the power, but you also have to remember the speed, too. Great base runner, great defender. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame, ladies and gentlemen. Kirby Puckett, no Kirby Puckett yet, but I'm a Chicago guy. Kirby Puckett was a Chicago guy. He grew up in Maywood. When I went to college, I didn't play, but I was able to go onto the field that was named after him, Kirby Puckett Field. It's in is it River Grove? Ryan Sandberg, but Kirby Puckett was one of my favorites. Very sad that he passed away at a young age. Here we see Jim Gantner. Here's Greg Vaughn. This is Mo Vaughn's brother. Here's Frank White. Blaine Beatty. And again, some more Shane Raleigh. Ooh, baby, I like your roll. It's Monday night. We got some Shane Raleigh action. We got Michael Jordan with the Daisy Dukes on. Here we see the Texas Rangers again. Oh, hell yeah. Here we see one of my favorite Cubs of all time, Mark Grace. So finally, getting a little bit deeper in here. It looks like the Job Squad so far in this first 2 quarters of the box. But here we see Mark Grace. This is in his first full season. No, his second full season. First full season was in '88. He had 13 homers, 79 RBIs, 28 doubles, with a 314 batting average. Very solid season there. Here we see Glenn Braggs, Mark Knudsen, Gary Thurman, Mickey Sasser, Pete O'Brien. All right, we have a Hall of Famer from the Big Red Machine. It's gotta be Barry Larkin, the shortstop, one of the greatest of all time. I used to love watching Barry Larkin play against the Cubs. One of the cool things was you got to see Barry Larkin play very often because they were in the same division as the Cubs. So Barry Larkin, Hall of Famer. Let's see what kind of season he had in 1989. 89 was only his third full season as a major leaguer. He didn't really have much power yet, didn't have much speed, but he batted .342 that year. Limited at bats, he had 325 at bats, so he played about half a year, but .342. He just started to tip the productivity that he would end up having throughout his major league career. Notorious Cubs killer was Barry Larkin. And here we have this 300 strikeout club. We have Mike Scott and Nolan Ryan. All right, Nolan Ryan laid down a pretty vicious butt whooping on Robin Ventura. I think it was in '92. Tony Phillips, very strange player, very talented though. Here we have Mike Gallego. We have Ron Jones. We have Alex Sanchez. We have Junior Ortiz. We have Brian Harper. We have Calvin Shinardi. We got some Pete O'Brien. And we have a Mickey Sasser and a whole lot of jobbers in this one. All right. Yeah, I said it. There's a lot of jobbers in this pack. But we did get Mark Grace. Thank you for stopping by, Big Stan. Always a pleasure to have you in here. Keep doing your thing out there. Shimmy, shimmy, y'all. Ron Gant. Ron Gant, yeah, I think he might be in here. But again, thank you for stopping by, Big Stan. Always a pleasure. Here we have the Brewers logo. Love that Brewers logo. The glove. I love the yellow and the blue, how they pop. Very old school. Very classic. Kevin Brown had a great career. Here we see another Hall of Famer, John Smoltz. John Smoltz for the Atlanta Braves. If we have a duplicate, I'll send one the way of James Dew. We are getting towards the bottom. It doesn't look like we're going to be getting Ozzie Guillen so far. It doesn't look like we're going to get Ozzie Smith. It's going to be a real travesty if we don't. Here we see another team card for the Expos. We see Jesse Orozco, Bob Ojeda, Jor Orselek, Lance Johnson, the one dog, former leadoff hitter for the White Sox. Always liked Lance Johnson. We see Lee Gutterman. We see Charlie Howell. Darren Dalton, he was a good player for the Phillies. Here we see Geronimo Berra, Dave Bergman, Mike Morgan, Quaig Washington, Ken Caminiti. He had some great years. His career ended up coming short. Had some great years for the Padres. But here we see Dave Stewart. He was the Mac Daddy and the Daddy Mac for several years. He was the World Series MVP in 1989. Who was in Mortal Kombat? From Daisy Duke's on. All right, so here we see Dave Stewart. What a string of years. 3 straight 20-win seasons from 87 to 89. 3 straight 20-win seasons. 20 wins, 21, 21. They worked him like crazy those 3 years. But, man, what productivity. Dave Smith was a big star. Here we see Ivan Calderon. Ivan Calderon had a big year in 87. I remember that, but then it was all downhill from there. Started gaining weight. Yes. So that's a great pull there for me because I ended up getting a Dave Stewart. One of the cool things, I remember most of these players, I would look at the baseball cards, and that's how I would get to know players, just with the numbers on the back of the card, and just gain familiarity. Back then, players didn't move around the way they do now. That's another reason why I really love baseball cards, because it was very rare that you'd have people move. So when somebody moved, it was a big deal because now you got to get that new card. But at the beginning of the new seasons, I would track the waiver wires. I would check to see transactions. I always had to have the updated team. Always had to have every single player. So I'd be happy if I go and get a pack of cards and I got all kind of busters. As long as like one of those busters that I got was somebody that, I know it's disrespectful to say busters, but role players. If one of those role players that I got is somebody that I needed to fill my team, my squad up, I'm happy. Again, I never sold my cards, so it didn't really matter if I was getting the big time money one. But speaking of big time money, there we go. There we go. Randy Johnson, and this is not his rookie season, but this is his first season as a full timer. 131 innings pitched with 118 strikeouts. That's big time. Randy Johnson with the Seattle Mariners. Look at that old logo. Remember Randy Johnson? Hall of Famer Randy Johnson. 6'10" Randy Johnson. Here we go. Craig Lefferts. John Kruk. Mookie Wilson. Here's Bobby Bonilla. This dude is still getting paid by the New York Mets. Or is it I think the Mets or the Marlins are still paying him. Gary Gaetti. Here we have Darren Jackson, former voice of the Chicago White Sox. Here we see Chili Davis, Junior Felix, Ramon Martinez. This is Pedro's brother. Pedro Martinez's brother. He had started off really good with his with the Los Angeles Dodgers, but injuries kind of like cut him down. Chili Davis was a really great player. Always had a lot of power. Stuck around the league for a long time. David, thank you for stopping by, brother. Always a pleasure to have you. And we are getting down there, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting down to the bottom of the pack. All right, hell yeah. And of course, this pack has some damage. And Jose Canseco, one of my favorite players of all time. If you guys haven't read his book, I forget what it was called. I think it was called Juiced. But man, I don't have that many Jose Canseco cards. I finally get a good one from when he was actually playing good. And it's messed up. That's upsetting. The only card so far that I've had with any kind of damage, and it's Jose Canseco. What movie was it with the kids like, you be Nomo, I be Canseco? So here we see he had a really down year in 89. Injuries plagued him. But 42 home runs, 124 RBIs the year before, 300 batting average. Remember, in 88, Jose Canseco was a Mac Daddy 40-40 club. 42 homers, 40 stolen bases for a big, big guy. 6'4", 230 pounds, stealing 40 bases and hitting 40 home runs. Jose Canseco was one of those guys that was taken to the next level, and he's one of the reasons that the Oakland A's were winning World Series championships. And baseball was paying attention to them. The Bash brothers. Now he gets alienated for helping popularize the sport. Very, very uncool. But Jose Canseco was a star. If people don't remember him, you knew you were a star back then if you had reported romance with Madonna. And Jose Canseco was one of those guys. Here we see Will the Thrill Clark, first baseman for the Giants. Chicago Cubs heartbreaker. Here's a Hall of Famer, Omar Vizquel, a wizard, so to speak. I think this is his rookie card, and it is, yes. This was his rookie card. He had never appeared in baseball until this season. 1989, 387 at-bats. He had only one home run, but that's a good season for Vizquel. Vizquel was not a power hitter. He was a wizard with a glove, though, and that's why he's a Hall of Famer. Here we see Dwight Evans, very underrated. Mike Heath, Chris James. Here we see Donnie Baseballs, players of the decade. Always loved Donnie Baseball. Sadly, injuries cut his career short. And we are at the stretch run now. Let's take a look at a pop now, just to try to break things up a bit. Here we see Nightwalker. What was the really for? Sorry, I caught the message late. But here we see the Target exclusive. Captain Marvel got this during PopCon at Target last Friday. You guys are wrestling fans, check out my Pete Dunne video. I have a Pete Dunne video. One of my last 3 videos in there. See Pete Dunne. Very hard to find, Target exclusive. Go ahead and take a look at this pack. You have the Atlanta Brave team logo. And we have Kevin McReynolds. We have, all right, Cal Ripken Jr. solo card. We have the Hall of Famer Cal Ripken. We have Bobby Thigpen, former closer for the Chicago White Sox. Mel Hall. Ken Howell. Jeff Russell. Jeff Blauser. Jay Howell. Mike Scott. Dennis Eckersley. We have a Hall of Famer here. Eckersley, Hall of Fame closer. Oakland A there. Here we have Ken Griffey. This is Ken Griffey Jr.'s daddy. He was still playing while Ken Griffey Jr. played. Cool moment. Ken Griffey and his father, I believe it was in 1990, 91. They hit back-to-back home runs while they were on the same team. Pretty cool. Take a look at this Jerry Curl. Taking it back to 1985. The Sexual Chocolate Tour. Look at this. Pascual Perez. Look at that Jerry Curl. Get a good look at that. And he was a pitcher. What sucks about some of these cards is the wax kind of wears off on the card. So if you have the card that's by the package opening, you're kind of SOL because you're going to have some of that residue on there. Squirrel Girl. I saw a pretty sweet statue of Squirrel Girl at GameStop the other day. I'm not really familiar with the character because I don't read modern comics, but I know she's quite popular. Here we see Belicki, we see Chuck Krim, we see Chris Bosio, Charlie Liebrant, Jeff Musselman, Greg Swindell, Rob Dibble. Here we see Boston Igniters, Wade Boggs and Mike Greenwell. We still haven't seen a Wade Boggs card. I do have this card though. I think it came in one of those collection packs where you get like a whole bunch of cards from different eras. I have that card in my collection. Oh, here we see Doc Gooden, one of the best players of the '80s. Sadly, drugs kind of. This is the year that drugs really started to affect him. 1989 only had 118 innings pitched, but him and Darryl Strawberry were the real deal. What could have been? Doc Gooden had his moments, played for the Yankees. Very sad what happened to the man. And this is a very strange box. Don't have too many of the key players in baseball in this box. A lot of role players. Very strange. Squirrel Girl could be Thanos, or is it Captain Marvel? It kind of upsets me how she's going to be the end-all, be-all. And guys like Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk can't stop Thanos, but here's a duplicate of Cal Ripken Jr. Looks like I'm going to have to go and pick up a second box from that guy. Hopefully they're still there. I work late tomorrow, so I'll probably stop by the mall, see if I can pick up another box. I was hoping that I'd get most of the collection in this box, but unfortunately it looks like I'm not. Here we have another Hall of Fame Barry Larkin, but that's a duplicate. Yeah, Carlton Fisk. There we have the Hall of Famer. For those who remember, he called his own shot. Well, he didn't call the shot, but he kind of like willed it to stay fair when he was a Red Sox. So was the Hall of Famer, Carlton Fisk. Rafael Palmeiro, another guy that's getting screwed out of the Hall of Fame. Prodigious power numbers. Dale Murphy. This was a guy that had his career cut short, but he had great power numbers. Sadly, he never made it into the Hall of Fame. Dale Murphy for the Atlanta Braves. Jeff Robinson, Bob Melvin, Rafael Ramirez. So we filled in a lot of spots here. And we are getting down to it. I want to thank you guys for stopping in and hanging out with the Elite Legend. I always appreciate you guys. Thank you for stopping by. We're not done yet. We still got a few more packages. Oh, Kirby Puckett. Hell yeah. Here we go. Kirby Puckett, finally. So there you see Kirby, born in Chicago, Illinois, baby. In 1989, he had a batting average of .339. .1989 was his sixth season. By his sixth season, he had compiled a .323 cumulative batting average. He had already reached 1,243 hits. He had a down year for power. In '89, he had 9 homers, 85 RBI. Kirby Puckett, great player, great hitter. Steve Balboni, great baseball name. He looks like, look at him, look at this guy. He looks like he could hit better than he actually did. Rick Rhoden, Jim Abbott, Dave Stieb. Some more rookies than ever were. Mickey Hatcher, Tim Burke, Rick Leach, Brett Saberhagen, closer there. You have Kirk McCaskill, John Smiley, Mike Flanagan. Pretty good pulls there. We got the Hall of Famer Kirby Puckett in there. That's a good thing. And that son of a bitch Kane. Almost done, brother. Here we go with Danny Darwin, Wally Joyner, Jimmy Key. This looks like some duplicates. Yeah, we opened some of these up already. Flash Gordon, Tony Armas, Paul Ossenmacher, Joe Alexander, Ed Whitson. Here we see Players of the Decade, Fernando Valenzuela. If I do another opening, it'll be modern players. I'll pick up a box of cards for this year. Probably do it closer to the opening of the season. We are almost done. We have another baseball quiz card. Here's another guy, Jack Morris. This is the guy that I was telling you about. Jack Morris, Alan Trammell, and Lou Whitaker were all screwed. This guy, World Series champion, multiple 20-win seasons, workhorse, man. Not in the Hall of Fame. Ridiculous. There's George Brett, Players of the Decade, Hall of Famer. Mitch Williams, Wild Thing, former closer of the Cubs. No Frank Thomas. Frank Viola, Doug Jones, John Franco. Here we see saves leaders, Mark Davis and Mitch Williams. Mitch Williams is the player that the movie Major League was kind of inspired, Wild Thing. Hey, here we go, Joey Bell, Albert Bell, rookie card. Take a look at that. From Shreveport, Louisiana. 7 home runs his rookie season. Between the minors and Major League Baseball, he had 27 homers that year. A sign of things to come. I'm very happy to have that guy in my collection. And now we're down to the last pack. And will we get an Ozzie Smith? Will we get an Ozzie Guillen? Will we get a Frank Thomas? Unfortunately, it looks like I'm going to have to buy another box to get those guys. And, all right, it doesn't look like there's going to be duplicates here. So we have Kevin Seitzer, Brian Harvey, German Gonzalez, Mike Harkey. Look at that unibrow. Oh, my God. He has that I'll Be Sure unibrow. Look at that. It looks like he put a few little cuts in that unibrow, too. Mike Harkey doing it up. Dude has 2 mustaches. Looks like he has 3, because you see a little bit of hair coming in under the cap. Dude's doing the trifecta of mustaches. Doing it. Would have been cool if you would have seen a little bit of chest hair creeping out there. Could have been 4. Here we see Mike Heath again, and again we have some duplicates to end it. Unfortunately, we end this on a whimper. Donnie Baseball, Candy Maldonado, here's John Dobson. We get another Mark Grace. And we end it with no Ozzie Smith, no Ozzie Guillen. Wah, 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 wah. There's 4 bonus cards in here. That Nerdy family, welcome back. You didn't. There was no single Mark McGwire card. There was a Mark McGwire, like a team-up one. We did have a Jose Canseco, but no Mark McGwire, no Frank Thomas, no Ozzie Smith, no Ozzie Guillen. Unfortunately, it looks like I'm gonna have to buy another box. I won't put you guys through it. I might do a little quick update to show you how many guys I got from the pack. My next video, I'll check them off on the checklist. But here, if you guys remember from the beginning of this, those of you that stuck with me, this box tells you to save the box, not to throw it away, because printed at the bottom, there are some collector cards at the back. So here we see the Blue Jays team card, Roger Clemens, Don Mattingly, and Robin Yount. And if you open the box, you see the actual stats that would have appeared at the back of those cards. Voila. So if you wanted to cut it, I wouldn't recommend it. Just keep the box, put them in there. A lot of commons in here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put them back in here. I got all my the cards that I feel have some type of value to me. I have them separated here. That's what I would always do. And I had about 3 insert cards. So I'm very happy to have these. Want to thank you guys for taking the time to come and chill with Elite Legend on a Monday night. Had a lot of cool people come in here. Nightwalker, thank you for sticking it out, brother. We had Big Stan, Nerdy Family came back in. We had Venom Fang. We had Lady Dazed. We had. I'm gonna give a shout out to everybody in the that stopped by, left comments. To smash that like button. Thank you so much, guys. I pay it forward. I'll be checking out your content. If I miss any of your content, I have a lot of people that I'm trying to watch. So send me your new video. Send me whatever you want me to check out. I got a lot of time, and if you guys spend time with me, I'm going to spend time with you. Nathan Simmons, thank you. Lady Dazed, thank you. Big Stands, Hobbies and Collectibles, thank you. Nightwalker, thank you. How to Diva, thank you so much. Psycho Ghost Trackers, thank you. Pop Mama. Tabby Smith, thank you so much for stopping by. Venom Fang. Lickety Slit, David Martinez. You guys were awesome tonight. Thank you all so much. Tonight's MVP is going to be David. I'm sorry, David Knight. Why am I saying David Knight? David Martinez, thank you so much for stopping by again. Lickety Slit. But tonight's MVP is Nightwalker. Nightwalker was very active in the comments. Nightwalker, thank you so much. Nightwalker, I'm going to go ahead and make you a moderator. So whenever you stop by my chats, you'll be a moderator for being the MVP of this chat, sticking with me tonight. Just making sure I didn't miss anybody in the comments. Want to give a proper shout out to everybody that stuck with me this night, this cold March night. Sal Screen stopped by for a brief time. It's very late for him in his part of the country. Cholo Andrew, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for dropping that like. You guys are amazing. And that's about it. And you guys, I gave you that wrench. You're the MVP tonight, Nightwalker. Where are you going? You going to Disney World? Or are you going to bed? All right. Well, thank you guys for stopping by again. Couldn't be more excited to open up this box of cards. Didn't get that much great things, but it was $5. I supported a small business. I spent some time with you guys, and I had a great time doing it. The next time you guys see me, I'm going to be more than likely with a Marvel Legend. I'm going to be doing a review of the Mystique figure, so keep an eye out for that. Got some more wrestling content coming up for the weekend. I'm almost done with the Elite Legend Wrestling Cave, so keep an eye out for that. I'm going to be doing some live streams and some videos from up in my wrestling room, so I'm looking forward to that. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe. If you're catching this after the live stream, make sure you leave a comment. Let me know who your favorite baseball team is, who your favorite baseball player is. Do you have any memories from the 1990 baseball season? Were you even alive in 1990? And make sure you check out the comments for all of the content creators that are in this chat. Make sure you check out Nightwalker. He's our MVP of the night. Definitely want Nightwalker in your chats. So thank you again. Much love. Until next time, make mine Marvel, make mine Elite, make mine Vintage. Thank you guys. Stay classy. Elite Legend out. If I could figure out how to turn this off. Hey, you guys are still here? All right, guys, go on, go to bed. Nothing to see here. Thank you for stopping by, guys. I saw Mab Shine came in at the end. Thank you for stopping by, Mab Shine. I was opening up baseball cards from 1990. Had a great stream. Want to thank you for stopping by. Make sure you check out, if you're checking out the rest of the content later on, take a look at all the individuals that stopped by the live chat. I know you guys got this creepy look at, an in-depth look at my face for a moment. I apologize for that. I thought the camera was off, but it was still rolling. But